Last week I made this, the Pirate Rum, and it's great. I'm really glad I did it. It was a fun project. But now that I'm done and I'm looking at what is left over from that project, I think I can pretty much squeak out some free rum. How's it going, chasers? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I'm Jesse and this is Still It. Now, last week, I say that because at the time of recording, the Pirate Rum video hasn't even gone out. But by the time this video is live, the Pirate video would have gone out in YouTube timelines and you get the idea. So last week, I made the Pirate Rum. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I decided to try and make a historic pirate rum. A rum that would have been made in the same way from roughly the same ingredients at the time that there were pirates gallivanting around the Caribbean and drinking rum. Very cool project. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, feel free to check it out with the card up here. So here's the thing, guys. There are a bunch of recipes kicking around on forums and Facebook groups and all that sort of stuff that essentially take a relatively high-priced cane product like molasses and then figure out a way to stretch it and make it go the extra mile to get a little bit of extra rum for the price you're paying. And those are great. That's an awesome thing to do. I need to try it sometime. I've never made a rum that has anything but molasses in it. I need to try it. But what happened is I finished making that pirate rum and I was left with a pot, a still full of stuff that stank just like rum still, which is weird for distilling because if you make something like a whiskey and then distill it, the stuff that's left in the pot doesn't smell anything like whiskey. It doesn't smell like the beer you started with. It's different somehow. And that got me thinking, can I essentially squeeze out some free rum from this? I've got this stuff sitting in the pot that stinks to high heaven of rum still. And I've also got feints kicking around that, I mean, sure, they're not free, but they're kind of free. They're basically just a waste product of all the other stuff that I've been distilling. Can I just take some feints, throw it back in the boiler, run the still again, and get free rum? I don't know the answer to that. Simply because I haven't tried it yet. Should we find out together? So first of all, I need to decide what alcohol I'm going to throw back into the pot with essentially the dunder that's left in there. Now, I could use just a neutral spirit. I mean, you could use anything. Absolutely anything. I'm deciding to use feints because I don't want to take my spirit that I've painstakingly distilled into neutral spirit or into whiskey or whatever and throw it back in here for a seconds product, but also for something that I just don't know if it's going to work or not. So I'm going to use feints. But here's the thing, guys. I've got 2 feints containers, both of which are damn near full right now. I need to use them up. There's been no rhyme or reason at all as to what's gone into either keg, but you know, obviously they're going to end up being quite different. This one, almost like a half-decent whiskey, but it's a little bit licoricey, it's a little bit spicy. It tastes like a spiced whiskey, I guess. Not horrible, but there are some really interesting malty things going on. This one, on the other hand, smells like peach and smoke. Ooh, and tastes pretty similar. That's peaty. I'm guessing that there is a fair bit of the New Zealand South Island peat in this, and also some of that peach brandy I made a while ago. Let's roll with that. That's going to be fun. We need to talk about exactly what I'm doing with those generic feints. But first, there's something even more obvious. I have feints left over from the rum run. I mean, why would I not put these in the still? The feints that I decided to use are sitting at just under 50%, and I have roughly 25% of liquid left in the still. My thinking is if I add 6 litres of these feints into the still, it'll dilute everything down to be right around 10%, much the same as a wash would be, which seems fitting. Is that a good idea? I don't know. I haven't done this before. It seems like a good starting point. Funnily enough, too, I'm starting to smell, now that this has been, sitting out for 5 minutes, a little bit of funk to it. A little bit of grainy funk, which I think might work well, actually. I'm happy with that. Peat funk, hogo funk, grain funk. These are all good things in my book. Then there's funk that no one likes. Today's sponsor is here to help you with ball funk. Yeah, you know exactly what I mean, don't you? I've had their products for a while now. I've already told you about their lawnmower for trimming down there with less nicks and cuts in their nose hair trimmer, which is awesome as well. But that's not what I'm talking about today. Today we're talking about their boxes. I'm wearing them right now, and I know we kind of walk the line with some questionable humor around here sometimes, but come on guys, you don't need to see that. Just take my word for it, okay? Super comfortable, elastic waistband, delicious, silky material that is wonderfully comfortable and keeps you cool. But whether you're working around the still or just chilling on the couch, these things are gonna hug you in just the right way. Weird, I know, but it's very nice. Get these awesome boxes as part of the Performance Package. Use the code STILLIT to get 20% off, free international shipping, and 2 free gifts at manscaped.com. That's the code STILLIT at manscaped.com. Let's talk still setup. When I made the Pirate Rum, I did it pretty simple. Double pot still, because that was kind of the technology available back then. This time around, I'm gonna change things up. And I know in some ways I should, maybe just do it the same as I did the last one, and then it's a better direct comparison in flavors, and are these flavors coming from it? Whatever, I'm not doing that. I'm shooting from the hip on this one. This is just kind of for fun. So I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run 3 plates on the still. Why? I don't know. I kind of just want to see what happens. Seems like fun. I want to do something a little different from the last one. I want to see if we can make a more clean and refined product, even though we're doing it in a more down and dirty way, I guess. That's just intriguing to me. So the 50-litre boiler down below, 3 plates above it, the deflagrator over into the reflux condenser and into our collection vessel. And I've just finished taking the heads, and we're still pulling at, where are we? 87% basically. It's been a roller coaster so far. The heads came off smelling straight up rum. And then as soon as I switched to hearts, it changed to straight like peated whiskey. And now we're back to rum again. So what the amalgamation of all this is gonna make, I don't know. But I'll catch you on the bench and we'll find out together. I took roughly 1 litre of hearts. Not a lot at all. And I guess thinking back on it, there was pretty funky stuff in the pot. We were putting pretty funky stuff from funky distillations, I assume, with the feints. And I guess it shouldn't be surprising to me that we didn't get a huge yield and it went crazy pretty quick. This is proof down to 45%. I did collect a litre past this just to see if there were some sweet spots we could hit along the way. There wasn't. It was just horrible after this the whole way through. But what was pretty interesting is from the very beginning of the run, feints, heads, and hearts, every 150, 200 mils, the flavor would just completely change and it would taste like a totally different and new spirit. So that was pretty interesting. Now, does this smell like rum? No, it doesn't smell like rum. Does it smell like it's influenced by rum? Yes. What is the split on, the flavor contributions? I'd say probably 65% feels like it's coming from the feints and the rest feels like it's coming from the run. So is it like free rum for the taking? No, it's not. Not like this anyway. What I probably could have and should have done if I really wanted to test this and be a little bit more scientific about it rather than just shooting from the hip and kind of doing something for fun for once, would be to put something much more like a neutral. So put just like vodka in there. Put a couple of liters of vodka in the pot, distill it, and see what happens then. You don't have the crazy amount of funky stuff, heads and tails coming from the feints, and you don't have all these weird flavor contributions from, the random feints that are in there as well. Probably could have done that, and I don't know. My guesstimate is that you would have got like a lightly rum flavored vodka back out of it. That's my guess, but who knows? It's not rum, but it's actually not horrible. Before I tell you about that, I need to say a huge thank you to the Patreons. Thank you, Patreons. You are the people that let me do stuff like this for the fun of it, just to see what happens. So thank you guys, I really do appreciate it. If you're watching these videos and you're finding value in them and you'd like to contribute back to the channel, you can go to chasethecraft.com/support to find out all the different ways you can help out. One of them being Patreon. If it's right for you, you can go and sign up there. You can also, pick yourself up a Still Glencairn glass or other merch from the links on that page too. It tastes like a light on smoke, heavy on funk, peated whiskey with a very, very strong rum cask finish. And obviously unaged. That's kind of what it tastes like at the moment. Technically, considering where it came from, it's not horrible. It's not wonderful. If I was, thinking of it as a whiskey, and that I set out to make a whiskey and this is what I ended up with, I probably wouldn't be that happy. But I think it's worth keeping. I'll proof it down to maybe 60%, throw some wood in it, let it sit for, I don't know, a year. Maybe it'll mellow out a little bit by then and it might be kind of fun. I don't know. If you've done something similar to this, please, 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 guys, let me know. I would be very interested to hear from you and hear your results to see if they're the same. If you want to do something like this yourself, please go ahead and give it a go. I wouldn't, put time and effort and resources into it that you don't have. If you wanted to really stretch molasses further, you don't want to spend lots of money on molasses and you want to get more rum from it, I really do think adding some brown sugar, some white sugar, some demerara sugar, doing those sorts of things is probably a better idea. And if you're doing that, you kind of get the bonus of actually getting addition from fermentation. So this stuff was fermented as all of the things that it originally was, not rum. Didn't have a rum yeast, didn't have rum temperature, all of those sort of things. Whereas if you're using molasses and adding extra fermentables to it, the yeast, if you're using a rum yeast or fermenting at high temperatures for extra esters or any of those things, you're getting the additional benefit of more fermentation in the line of what you want for a rum. I feel like I just said 4 sentences that make no sense. I don't know. I hope they did though. Anyway, guys, this was fun. It is nice to try things just for the hell of it. And it is nice sometimes to... I wouldn't say this is a failure, but it's definitely not a great success. It's nice to have variation and success, so when you really do nail something, it really feels good. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, all of those good things, and I'll catch you next time. Keep on chasing the craft. See ya.